Hello again. Welcome to this session of Books and Words to Inspire. I'm Randy Dockens, author of futuristic fiction with a science fiction field and a Christian perspective. We're going through my first novel of the Stele Prophecy Pentalogy, entitled Mercy of the Iron Scepter, and seeing what parts are actually mentioned in Scripture. But before we do that, I think we first need to understand the concept of heaven. It is really a complex place, and its characteristics have and will change over time. There are 6 phases to heaven that we know of. 1, we have heaven before creation. 2, heaven between creation and Christ's crucifixion. 3, heaven after Christ's crucifixion and prior to his receiving of his bride. 4, heaven between his receiving of his bride and his second coming. 5, heaven after his second coming. And 6, heaven in eternity. My book series, Stele Prophecy Pentalogy, deals with heaven after his second coming. Let's go through these quickly. We know very little about heaven before creation. This is where God dwells, and it would have existed outside our known universe because the universe had not yet been created. So this helps us to understand that God is outside time and our perceived existence. This is likely why we can't see what we call the spiritual realm, because they are part of a different dimension or different phase of existence than are we. Heaven really didn't change after creation, but another dimension, if you will, did have to be created, and that is Sheol, the place where all dead dwell. This is also denoted as hell or Hades in Scripture. Yet it's not the hell we normally think of today. Sheol was a place for both the righteous and the unrighteous. Yet there was a barrier between the two, where the compartment for the unrighteous was not a pleasant place, and the compartment for the righteous was a pleasant place. It was still considered foreboding, because Christ was not there. Paradise can only be paradise when Christ is a part of it. What changed after the crucifixion? Both the psalmist and the apostle Paul talk of Christ leading captivity captive, meaning Christ took those in the righteous part of Sheol into heaven or paradise. This is why Paul could then say in his writings to be absent from the body was to be present with the Lord. The righteous now go to heaven when they die rather than to Sheol. Sheol, Hades, or hell is now the place only for the unrighteous. The righteous in Sheol were taken to heaven after Christ's crucifixion because Christ had atoned for their sins. They lived at a time which looked forward to Christ's atonement. We live in a time where we look back to Christ's atonement on the cross. In our current future, Christ will come in the air to receive those who belong to him, his bride. He will take those to heaven, the place he has prepared for them, and have the bridal supper of the Lamb, as mentioned in Revelation. On the earth will be what is called the tribulation period, and the focus of my book, Promised Kingdom. This is the time God deals with Israel and brings both Jews and Israelis back to their homeland under much persecution. At Christ's second coming, he will lift the curse from the earth and make it flourish like the Garden of Eden did in the past. Satan will be removed from the earth for 1,000 years, and there will be peace. Yet, not everyone will enjoy his rule with an iron scepter, meaning he will not tolerate any rebellion. This period of time, known as the Promised Kingdom or Christ's earthly kingdom, is the focus of all my books in this series. Once the 1,000 years are completed, Satan will try to overthrow God's kingdom, but will be defeated. Then the earth will be reshaped and made anew, and the new Jerusalem will descend to the new earth, and we will dwell with Christ and the Godhead for eternity. The whole universe will then be open to us. The time will truly be magnificent. I know this was a very short summary, but you get the picture that our future will be quite special. I hope these books will help you get a glimpse of that. Tune in next time as we will now go through the novel Mercy of the Iron Scepter and see what is really being pulled from Scripture to weave into this story. Also, be sure and check out my website. It's easy to find, randydockens.com. Bye, and I'll see you next time.